Happy Friday, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Good to have you here today. We're talking NVIDIA. The stock's underperforming the Mag 7. I mean, it's still up over 160% this year. It's had a good run. I think people are freaking out a little bit much on this. But are you guys seeing any weakening data that's kind of reflective of what we've seen since hitting those all-time highs last month? Because it seems like if you listen to the tech companies, they're not pulling back on any purchases of NVIDIA products at this point.
Yeah, I think that you're exactly right. And you make a good point. You know, I came in today and I'm looking at my notes and I'm ready to talk about this pullback in NVIDIA with a caveat that it's still up over 170% year to date, right? So this is a company that's absolutely dominating its sector and really AI at large. And we don't see many signs of weakness here other than a couple of concerns of antitrust concerns in China and potentially some delay in production concerns. But from a consumer perspective and from a user perspective of its actual technology and GPUs, we see demand continuing to build and grow. When we look at web visits, which is probably the best indicator for us because you know, a lot of consumers aren't necessarily talking about NVIDIA's products on social media, but you can see NVIDIA really beating its competitors. It's interesting here to see AMD starting to gain some steam. I think that could potentially be another story that maybe the market isn't expecting, but we do see NVIDIA continuing to fire on all cylinders. We see a lot of traction and a lot of speculation about the impact of its Blackwell GPUs, especially in 2025. And so we think that that's a really important segment to watch. From our perspective, conversations and consumer searches related to that Blackwell series continue to rise year over year, especially heading into next year. So I think that that will be a big driver next year for NVIDIA. But for us, this pullback really is a gift for long-term investors. We expect this company and this stock to continue much higher in 2025.
You know, Megan, it's interesting. On today's lows, the stock was down about $20, $152, you know, actually $25 from its all-time high. The bears out there, the voices are getting a little louder, as you know, about all the problems in NVIDIA and what they don't realize or what they may be getting wrong is where we are in the AI cycle. And as we get to winners and losers in the AI cycle, which we're starting to see Adobe and some other stocks that aren't competing as well in AI, but NVIDIA is secretariat in this race. And like your graphic mentions, they're extending their lead. You know, they've got the Blackwell chip just starting to roll out here. They've got another one ready. They got the Rubin chip waiting in the wings for another one. Their financials are great. Revenue growth, unbelievable. Profitability, of course. Cash flow, yes. And yet it's corrected kind of nicely here. Well, what am I missing, Megan? I mean, is there anyone really competing against us? We thought maybe it's Broadcom, right? It's starting to mention, but they do a different thing than NVIDIA does.
Yeah, you know, NVIDIA has really created its own class. It is so far above competition that, you know, for a while we said, okay, maybe AMD can start to compete. Maybe, you know, consumers are clamoring to get their hands on some of their products. But really it's just because maybe they couldn't afford or maybe they couldn't get their hands on the real NVIDIA product that they wanted. And so there's a really large gap between first place and second place across the board. And whenever you think of NVIDIA, I mean, how do you define its competitors? It has its hand in so many different sectors from, you know, data centers to even this mini computer that it just pushed out that will help expand AI capabilities to a lot of small businesses. I think the price tag on that is like $250. So it has a product for seemingly everyone, and it also appears to always be a step ahead of what is driving tech advancements. And so this is a company in a really good spot, and pullbacks like this, like I said, this is what we see and what this is like a Christmas gift for investors almost, it feels like.
So Megan, that based on that, I mean, have you guys been pounding, like the stock was down 16% from those all-time highs. If you had an earnings score on this one now, it's got to be positive then, right?
Yes, it would be bullish. This is one of those names just from the macro trends. And as Kevin mentioned, we think we're still very early in the ultimate AI cycle, at least for NVIDIA. And so we see a lot of growth opportunity from here. And any pullbacks that we see are buying opportunities. And this is one that we're certainly bullish on in the long term, and especially in 2025.
All right, bullish data. All right, great stuff. Have a great weekend, Megan. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right, that's Megan Brantley, Vice President of Research at LikeFolio. You know, Kevin, some of the